Kickin' It in the 757 is brought to you by View It, Do It, where everyone gets a front row seat, and by Apicab, transportation you can trust.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Kickin' It in the 757. I'm your host, Kevin Neff. This week, we're going to introduce you to a must-have mobile app for when you're looking for safe, dependable transportation 24/7. Next, we're going to visit with a military veteran who's making quite the impact in the barbecue sauce industry right here in Hampton Roads. Then, we're going to check in with our friends at View It, Do It and take a look at another event they recently featured. But first, we're heading back down to the Brink Anchor Brew House located in Granby Street, downtown Norfolk. Now, the Brick is such a unique destination, we actually had to do it in a two-part series. And if you missed part one, well, you're in luck because we're going to get you caught up to date. So join me as we head to Brink Anchor Brew House in Granby Street, Norfolk. Hey, welcome to the Brick. Well, that's a heck of a greeting. You must be Phil.
I'm a heck of an owner.
Phil Smith?
I am.
Kevin Neff, Kickin' It In 757. Thanks so much for having us here today. Why the name Brink Anchor for your brew house here in Norfolk?
Well, brick because it's firstly a historic building made of bricks. And it's a historical street in Granby. And when we were coming up with the name, we thought brick really conveys the thought of strength, of a foundation, of a timeless aspect. And then as we were thinking what else, instead of just calling it the Brick, we thought, you know what, we're in Norfolk, the largest Navy base there is. So it's an homage to the Navy and it's an homage to the city. And finally, coming from Buffalo, New York, kind of mecca for us is the Anchor Bar in Buffalo where chicken wings were first invented and made.
Oh,
so
really?
It's kind of tying our hometown into it. We dug up some pictures from the archives. And you see in this one, for instance, it's a rail car. This is our building in the background. We looked at pictures like this, and we have another one with a Zeppelin over it. We said, you know, why don't we think about steampunk? Because kind of the simple definition for me of steampunk is if you look at back in the 1800s, and if you ask somebody, what might the future look like? What might transportation look like, for example? They would sketch things that earlier, like Leonardo da Vinci sketched.
Okay.
And it's just, what is their concept of the future going to look like? So as we kind of got these pictures, as this one you see here, with the rail car right in front of our building, there were just some unusual things about pictures like this and another one that we found, which was a Zeppelin over the building, that got us to thinking, all right, we have Zeppelins, we have rail, we have airplanes, we have submarines, we have the Navy, we have mass transportation down here in Monticello. Why don't we think about steampunk more industrial and transportation oriented? This is a picture of a Zeppelin, a real Zeppelin from 1922. It's called the Roma, and it was an Italian airship that the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Army took over. But the unique thing about that is it's very nearly over our building right now in this picture. And an unfortunate part of it is about a 30 minutes to an hour after that, it unfortunately crashed and 34 people lost their lives. And it was before the Hindenburg, but yet nobody knows about it in our place in history for Norfolk. Initially, to be honest, I wasn't coming to Norfolk. I was going to go to Virginia Beach or Newport News, and my realtor kept telling me to come look at Granby Street, come look at Granby Street. And at first I resisted because my remembrance of Granby Street from 20 years ago was that it wasn't necessarily the place where you wanted to not only put a business, but not even, you know, to walk on the street. And when I came here and just saw the vibrancy and I saw all of the kind of infrastructure and what has happened to Norfolk over the last 20 years, coupled with the beautiful building that we're in, it just made a lot of sense to me to come to Norfolk because I wanted to be part of the thread in this community and to be a place where people could come and enjoy themselves and enjoy the environment.
What's great about here is you show us around, the attention is really in the details, and that's what we're hoping, and especially with our viewers, will go and look at the things that we're showing today.
Right.
There's just so many hidden little gems in here, and I know there's some more you want to show us, so let's take a peek.
There sure is. Okay.
So Phil, what do we got going on here with all the clocks and industrial feel, and tell us about that.
Well, yeah, so we wanted to, again, integrate steampunk and a little bit of science fiction, if you will, into our theme here. And one of my favorite books growing up was The Time Machine, an old movie. And so what we wanted to do here, Kevin, was to kind of replicate or give that feeling in some sorts that time is important, but time necessarily doesn't matter when you're here with friends. So for instance, we have a clock here that it spins backwards. We have written in Latin, on this side it's tempus, and on this side it's fugit. Basically, time flies. And, you know, for the time machine reference, but also because when you're sitting here in our restaurant and in our bar, enjoying our great food and great beer, that time really shouldn't matter. Yet you're there talking with your friends and family and enjoying the time and not worrying about the future.
I heard you have 60 craft beers on tap.
We do. Yeah, we have 60 on tap and 30 in bottles. And we're very proud because what we have done is to make sure that we're supporting especially our local brewers. So if you look at our front 20 taps, these are all local breweries or Virginia breweries. In fact, we built the cooler just for these Virginia beers. We've gone into a partnership with one, Pleasure House Brewing in Virginia Beach, that they brew our beer. And we're the only ones that sell it along with the Pleasure House Brewery. So we want to support our community. There really is a beer for everyone, and that's the great thing about craft beer now. So for instance, you like the bourbon stout because it's aged in bourbon barrels. And one of the things we do here in our little box over there, we call it the Brink Infusion. And if you want to add different flavors to your beer, like more hops, or maybe you want a little strawberry tinged or spice put in there, we can do that to change the character profile of your beer. Generally, people are going to come here for the beer, but they're going to stay for our food because our food is exceptional. I don't ever want to presume that I know everything about anything because I don't. If I come in here, what would I like to see? What would I like to feel? Well, if that's the case, then let's take it a step further. Let's ask them, this is our menu. Do you like it? And what can we change? People like that we did it, and we did, in fact, tweak our menu some to accommodate that. We were going for a place, and I know I've used the word community a lot, but we truly believe that, and we want to be able to cater to anyone who comes in here, and we're going to treat everyone like mama. We wanted to hit a spot in between, like the sports bar setup with the TVs and all the sports and the food that's very good to eat while you're watching games, in the high end. So we think we did it about right, that we're in a place that, yeah, if you want nachos and you want wings, yeah, sure, you can come here. And if you want a nice French-based cream contraption that we develop, you'll get that here too. We have 6,500 square foot of space here. And my designer and I thought that since we have 3 different levels, which you mentioned, that let's create a different environment, different vibe, different feel for each, so that our guests can go to different locations here, be in the same building, but feel like they're in a completely different place. And we have our first floor there behind us that's dominated by the bar. It's a social gathering place. And then you come up to where we are, the Tesla Lounge. As you'll see, it's different, it's distinct, the colors, the furniture. This was meant more for socializing, happy hours with your friends. We usually have music on Friday and Saturday nights right below us. So this is one of those preeminent places that people love to reserve because they're right over the band that's playing, but yet they're separate a little bit from it. And they feel that they're in an exclusive club of sorts. I really have to give credit to my interior designer, Rebecca Laris from Portsmouth, but her kind of concept for it was, since we're steampunk, and since steampunk, simplistically put, is going back in time and thinking what the future looks like, that she thought that this could kind of be a good transition, especially for the younger people today who view Tesla cars as the new thing, as the future. And Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla, going to Mars is kind of that visionary. But they don't necessarily know much about Nikola Tesla. And he,
The real Tesla,
who was born back in 1856, I believe. And he worked for Thomas Edison, and over time they had falling outs and lawsuits and bad names. So what we did up here, because we wanted to commemorate that relationship, is we have two pictures of with names, their names and their birth year, and we have them just facing each other. So throughout, as long as we're here, and we know it's going to be for a long time, they still haven't gotten out of each other's sphere of influence.
So we've got a whole nother, literally, restaurant and bar on top of the restaurant and bar with the Tesla Lounge in between the two of them.
Some who knew the old Jack Quinn knew there was a room upstairs and here in the lounge mezzanine, but they definitely didn't know what we've done to it and what the opportunities are for events. We have space for up to 75 people. It's isolated, there's no through traffic, it has its own bar, it's very co-located with a kitchen, own facilities, an elevator. And a lot of people have requested that, a lot of Navy functions, because they feel like they can be there in their own cocoon of social togetherness and not have to share it with others, which I respect and appreciate.
You've got some pretty sneaky things going on in some of the artwork and pictures framed on the walls, don't you?
We do, and it was obviously done intentionally. We want people to immerse themselves here, not just come and have a beer or a drink and food, but to look around and see what they can find, because every time they're going to see something different. So for example, up here in the Tesla Lounge, my photographer went to the Slover Library, to the Norfolk archives, old historical pictures, and he pulled a bunch of pictures out that you'll see on our walls, and in each one he put a Tesla, and in each one there's also a reference, hidden reference to the Brink Anchor of some sort. So when you're here, when our guests are here, we want them to kind of go on a scavenger hunt and find those.
We're not going to give that away either. You got to kind of be your own sleuth, but just the way you've done it, I think, is really, really cool.
We have something for everyone here, I truly believe. And I've always been service oriented. We're going to take care of our guests. If they come in here and they want a special event for a special moment in their life, we hope that we can add a beautiful verse to their story. You look in the photos of people who sat in a bar in 1915, maybe in here, to today, they're just wearing different clothes, but they still have the same hopes and dreams and want to be special. They want to have their story told. And this is a place where they can come and tell it.
Thank you again to Phil Smith, owner of Brink Anchor Brew House. Phil, you've been a great host.
My pleasure.
If you want to do something different, unique, and venture out to downtown Norfolk on 241 Granby Street,
241 it is.
Do yourself a favor and check this place out, because as Phil said, people may come for the beer, but they stay for the food. So once again, Phil, thank you so much. And whether it's for the beer, for the food, or maybe hosting your own event at Brink Anchor, definitely do yourself a favor and check it out and come on down to 241 Granby Street. Until next time, I guess, Phil, that's a wrap.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys. Coming up, transportation you can trust. Join me as we sit down with our new show sponsor, Apicab, and learn more about their mobile app. We're going to introduce you to a pair of brothers and military veterans who are making big waves in the barbecue sauce world. Stay tuned, as there are lots more of Kicking It in the 757.
Joe Taylor here, and we're asking people, who is Pratt & Lambert?
Oh, plumbers. We've used them before.
Oh, I use their makeup. Don't you love it?
Brad Lambert, they're the people that did my taxes.
Obviously, you know who Pratt & Lambert is.
Well, of course. I know that when it comes to the paint you use or the colors you choose, you should never compromise. And neither does Pratt & Lambert.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. Pratt & Lambert paint, carried exclusively at Taylor's Do-It Centers.
Welcome back to Kickin' It in the 757. We're going to check in now with our friends at View It, Do It, as they were recently at another great event here in Hampton Roads. And with View It, Do It, everyone has a front row seat. So let's give them a visit. Here at Kickin' It in the 757, we love taking you to new dining and entertainment destinations all throughout Hampton Roads. But the reality is, none of it would be possible without our great show sponsors. And today, we're at Bay Local Eatery on Shore Drive, Virginia Beach to introduce you to just one of those. Apicab mobile app, transportation you can trust.
Hi, I'm Frank Azzolina, spokesman for Apicab. We're here to talk about our mobile taxi booking app, Apicab. You're 2 taps away from a cab. It's a free download. You tap the app, GPS locates where you are and sends the closest cab. Or you could choose a minivan, you could choose a wheelchair accessible vehicle. Maybe you need to get on base. You can choose a driver that has a base pass. You could book a cab ahead. We give you a lot of choices. You can pay by credit or cash. It's a free download. Go to the App Store or go to apicab.us. Apicab uses sophisticated GPS technology. We know exactly where you are, and we know where the closest cab is, and we get there quick. Drivers that have base passes are allowed to pick up, drop off on base. Not all of our competitors have base passes. A great number of our drivers have base passes. It's very rare that you would ever not be able to get a driver with a base pass using our Apicab service. Apicab will never, ever utilize surge pricing. Apicab prices are set by the city. They'll never fluctuate, and you're guaranteed that price, whether it's busy, whether there's a concert in town, whether it's late at night. Apicab will never raise the price. There will never be surge pricing when you use Apicab. We think choice is always the best way to go, and giving folks a choice to pay with cash or credit is a very good business practice. The rate is the rate. Doesn't matter if you choose a sedan, a minivan, a wheelchair accessible vehicle, the prices remain the same. We are absolutely the safest way to get around. Taxi drivers must go to the police department to get a background check before they can even drive a cab. Taxi cabs are inspected by the police department as well. Not only the state inspection that everyone gets, but the police department inspects the taxis. Because let's face it, we're driving around the public. And when you drive around the public, there needs to be that extra layer of safety checks in place. And, quite frankly, if your driver is not getting vetted at the police department and your vehicle is not getting inspected at the police department, I'd be very wary of who's driving you. Actually, in Virginia Beach, it's unfortunate, but, a driver was allowed to drive for one of our competitors with a DUI on his record, 2 reckless driving. He could have never been a taxi driver.
How does that happen?
Well, they're not getting background checks done at the police department. They're utilizing third-party background checks. Folks slip through the cracks, and it's unfortunate that happens, but your driver needs to be vetted at the police department. The background checks are more thorough, and it just is a safer way to get around. So the taxi companies that we dispatch own their vehicles. They're all equipped with digital cameras for safety. They also have a panic button for the driver to use if there's ever any issues with someone's health or criminal activity. Well, we are the safest way to get around. We are local, we're in the community, we're here. We have close to 300 vehicles, 30 wheelchair accessible taxis. We're a full service 24/7 company that doesn't pick and choose what neighborhoods we go to. The drivers are vetted at the police department. The vehicles are inspected at the police department. Safety is paramount, but customer service is also right up there. We are proud to be a leader in customer service. We keep our cars clean. They're all 09 and newer, so we have modern vehicles, state-of-the-art technology, computer dispatch, and it's, we're part of the community. A lot of folks don't know that we give free rides every year to the Wounded Warrior Project, that we give backpacks and school supplies and free trips to Women in Crisis and Transitions, YWCA, that we are giving free rides to the polls for senior citizens coming up for this big election. 60 and over, if you need a ride to the polls, we're going to take it for free. Wait for you to get done voting and take you home. So we're part of the community. We feel it's important to be visible, to give back, and we pride ourselves on being a great, community partner.
Welcome back to Kickin' It In the 757. Now you're probably wondering why I'm standing in front of a conveyor belt here in Ashburn Sauce Company, Virginia Beach. Well, the truth is, I love barbecue sauce, and I got the opportunity to sit down with Eddie Gaskins and his award-winning sauce, Gaskins 5-Star Barbecue Sauce, that according to him, will have you licking your fingers, your toes, and your elbows. Let's check it out.
My father taught me how to make barbecue sauce a long time ago, and I just tweaked the one that he made because he never wrote the recipe down, nothing like that. So I had to come up with my own recipe. So I mastered what he taught me. Now I have my own barbecue sauce on the market. It's so easy for me to do, make the barbecue sauce. It's something I always wanted to do. Yeah, by me joining the military, it gave me more opportunities to grow, see different things, and learn different things. Because probably I would have never been able to produce my barbecue sauce if I would have never joined the military to see how different things happen there, the logistics and how to get things done, because where I was at pretty much was a standstill, because my father, he probably would have did it himself, but didn't have the know-how. So by seeing the world, it gave me the opportunity to do a whole lot of different things. What really got it started, me and my family used to barbecue whole pigs and chickens and stuff during the Christmas holidays, and we got popular at doing that. And then we ended up making sauce and putting it on the different hogs and chickens. And people just say, man, that stuff good enough to put it in a bottle. When y'all gonna put it in a bottle? Your stuff just as good as the other sauces out there that's on the market. So you should go ahead and give it a shot and bottle the sauce. And that's what I decided to do. Well, the process is real easy, Kevin. A lot of people promised me they could get me in the store, and I run back and forth to different stores. People work there, managers and of that sort, said, we can get you in the store. It doesn't work like that. The way it really works, in order to get into a store, you have to go to the headquarters and present yourself. You got to have all the qualifications that requires to be put on the shelf. You got to make sure you have your labels and the bottles and properly everything in there. You got to have insurance and different things like that in order to be on the shelf. Like you say, by being in the military, I know what it takes in order to get the stuff on the shelf. And there was a lot of people, probably like 40 or 50 people, still waiting today trying to get their stuff on the shelf because they don't know the process or won't sit down and learn the process. And that catapulted me to the top instead of from being at the bottom. Step out on a leap of faith there. And what we did, we had a lot of family members, churches tried it. A lot of my friends in the military tried it. And we got good rave reviews on the sauce. And everybody started having different slogans and stuff. I say it tastes so good you lick your hands. But then a lot of my friends were saying it tastes so good you lick your finger, toes, and your elbows. Well, the general public can buy the sauce in all the Farm Fresh stores. And then a couple of Piggly Wiggly stores. Got a Piggly Wiggly in Norfolk, and we got a couple of Piggly Wigglies back down south in South Carolina. And we got also the military, if you were able to get on base, you can go to the commissaries and get the barbecue sauce in the 757 there at commissaries. Yeah, it's me and my brother pretty much. My brother, Jimmy Gaskins. He served in the military for 23 years there. He more or less take care of the inventory part of it. And then I got my wife, Cheryl Gaskins. She take care of the bookkeeping for me right there. So we all play a role in the business there, and everybody do their fair share, so that makes the business easy. because we get a chance to talk, work things out. There's no boss. Everybody just got, do their fair share of it. So it's really, really easy to go with. No grumbling or arguing about anything. So it's easy. The first one, sweet and tangy sauce there. A lot of the older crowds, they like that. And maybe some of the younger kids kind of popular with those. And it's good on chicken, meatballs, and baked beans. And everybody is just finger licking good, hand licking good. Everybody just going wild, going crazy about this sauce here. The medium-sized sauce is the hot and sassy sauce there. And everybody mostly call it, that's their meatball sauce, or they call it the chicken wing sauce. And it's my wife's favorite sauce there. She's crazy about it. I think we named the sauce after her, hot and sassy. And then we got a hot and zesty sauce there. My brother Jimmy Gaskins Jr., he really loves that sauce as well. And it's just like a sauce with sweet and heat. Pretty much it's the hotness creep up on you a little bit. At first it start out sweet, and then pretty much it build up, and then you get the hotness from them and say, wow. So you get it all in one with the zesty sauce. The last one is spicy and it's hot. And the one or two people that tried it already, it's really, really good. We call it Shazam. And the Shazam sauce really make you want to get up and dance. It's gonna make you move, got some heat, and I just can't wait to get it in the stores out there because it's really, really good and it's gonna get the hot flavor. The reason why I make the sauce the way I make it is, it's a medium grade sauce and you can do just about everything in it. So it's more like one sauce does it all. You can marinate in it, barbecue, saute, cook, grill, anything you want to do to it, and you get the flavor. And also, it's like you can see through this sauce though. You can see your meat, well, what you're putting in your sauce there. You're not hiding anything with this sauce right here. I would like to make Gaskin barbecue sauce a household name. Everybody in the world should have a bottle of Gaskin barbecue sauce in their house, or in the restaurants, or in all the stores around the world. That's what I'm looking for with Gaskin 5-Star barbecue sauce. It will happen with this. It just takes a little time, but it will happen with all the good people that's helping me out. I'll get there.
Really enjoyed the time I've spent with the Gaskins family and learning about Gaskin's 5-Star barbecue sauce. If you'd like to pick up a bottle for yourself, or 2 or 3, you can get them at participating commissaries, all farm freshes, and also select Piggly Wigglies. And remember, Gaskins has got a flavor for every taste and personality, like Shazam.
Wow.
Sweet.
Hot and zesty.
Hey, Jimmy, where are you going? We're not done. Well, that's a wrap on another episode of Kickin' It In the 757. And remember, to catch past episodes or to check out more on the individual destinations we've brought to you, all you've got to do is go to kickinitinthe757.com. Until next time, I'm your host, Kevin Neff. And remember, we're kicking it in the 757, and so should you. See ya.